Hey, what's up guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my California Golden Seals Draft to Glory franchise mode series. It's an interesting episode, it's an interesting time in the history of this team. We do find ourselves back in the playoffs. We take on Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers in the first round. But of course, we have more big off-season decisions, I'm leaving that in, looming overhead, heading into the next episode or two, depending on how long this playoff run is. That said, I do want to get right down to business. Let's get to a couple of your comments first. Let's start off with good old Sir Zuri here. Now, here's the thing, right? One of your comments was brought up the other day in terms of sorting by potential at the beginning of the draft. I often, and you may have noticed, that I scroll down far enough to kind of see what's going to be coming up through pretty much the entire rest of the draft and early into the next draft. So you're not wrong. I just don't happen to do it that way. That's all. Like I said, I prefer to scroll down the way it is, mark players that I'm interested in. I feel like I scroll down far enough. Different ways to do it. I genuinely don't feel as though I've missed out on any great talent in doing it in the way that I have. That's all. Creature of habit, I suppose. Ryan, here's the thing as well. I didn't act as if Nazarov was terrible. I just acted as if he was asking for way too much money, which he kind of was and is. Jeff, I would run one scout in each US West and US East, move the two open spots to SHL and Liga. That actually doesn't sound like that bad of an idea. We'll probably do it heading into the next offseason. Do I view changing player types as cheating the system? No, I don't, because players still don't develop like they should. You still have two-ways that end up having much better stats that would be much more akin to a playmaker. So until that changes and two-way players actually continue to develop better as two-ways, no, I don't view it as cheating. And they did kind of say that that was going to be the case this year, and I'm not really noticing it. So, yeah. I think I sort of wanted us to not make it this year. A lottery pick certainly would have helped Eliza. With all that said, let's get down to business. I'm not going to say that I'm expecting us to lose, because the last time I said that, some people weren't a big fan of my pessimism. But I will say, having tried to catch up, because I missed out on uploading videos yesterday that I wanted to upload, so I was trying to catch up on everything all at once, including recording a set plan. Which ended up being a very interesting episode if you haven't checked that out, and hopefully it's up on the same day. If not, it'll be up tomorrow. That ended up being a very interesting episode in which, by the end of it, we packed some players and I got combat. So, it was an interesting one. But let's take a look. As far as our lineup is concerned, there are no changes, at least to start. I think we'll stick with what brought us to this point. We'll make changes if necessary. I am very worried about Colin Richter, but hopefully he proves to be a playoff performer. And this is a big point in time for one Len Iliakis, who, after taking over the reins, hasn't exactly proven to be the goalie that we need him to be, or that we were hoping he could be, even in a, hey, look, Steve Croak, even in a sense of, you know, I didn't expect him to be Brock Sestito, but he could still be better than he has been. This is the Oilers squad that we are up against. Sebastian Aho, Connor McDavid at 35 years old, and Clifford Bolton, former third overall selection. Second line, Jesse Puljujarvi, were Serge Otteraeus. I always want to say Otterais, but I imagine it's Otteraeus. And Alex Nylander. Damn. Third line, Anders Bjork with Lawrence Erskine and Mika Martens. And the fourth line, Max Jones, Zachary Gore, and Henrik Borgstrom. The defense, oh god, it doesn't get any easier. It is Adam Chung and Charlie McAvoy. Ivan Provorov with Zach Lamkin, Thomas Chabot, Hot Sam Bacho with Tiny Kennedy. The goaltender is 89 overall Robinson Emerson. Are we favorites? In terms of goaltending? No. In terms of defense, it's at least well-rounded. I wouldn't say we're totally outmatched there. And in terms of the offense, I mean, they have Connor McDavid. So, how this is going to go, I do not know. This is the type of series where I could easily see us winning. This is the type of series where I could see us get swept. It's really tough to say. There's no other way to find out other than to just get down to business. Let's get this show on the road, shall we? First period of Game 1 here in Edmonton, and we do get the opening goal. Howard Fragapani is the difference maker. We have the slight, ever so slight edge in shots. Second period, okay, Dylan Redden and Jean-Francois, 3-0. 25 shots to 17. 3-0 on the board. Let's go to the third period before I get too optimistic, and let's just hope that we can hold on. Alex Nylander scores on the power play. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. Anders Bjork. Everything is fine. It's great. I don't have a care in the world. Everything's going to be all right. See? No stress at all. We hold on to take Game 1 by the score of 3-2. At the very least, we will not be swept. 37 shots to 28, and we were able to get the job done, although not stress-free. Fragapani and Redden 2 points each, a .928 save percentage for Iliakis, which isn't tremendous. I mean, you kind of want your goalie to have, like a .930, .940-ish. I mean, especially for a first-round series, but in the end, I'll take it. It was good enough. We got the job done. We got the win. And that is a decent start, as we were actually able to get some goals, and Iliakis was able to get the job done down the stretch. We go to Game 2, and hopefully there is a repeat performance. Second game, totally not the second period. That's not what I was going to say at all. The end of the first period, Connor McDavid has the lone goal, 13 shots to 9. They're up 1-0 as we sim the second period, and we do tie it. Dylan Redden from center ice, dead center, well, off center, but dead center in terms of being even on the line. 23 shots to 16. We're tied at 1 goal apiece. It is anybody's ball game as we head to the third period. Let's see what happens. Nylander gives us the lead. We have a long way to go, though. Power play chance is extended. It doesn't happen for us. Under 5 minutes remaining. Can we get the win? Nylander strikes again. Redden with the empty netter. And off the back of Kim Nylander and Dylan Redden, 4-1 is your final. 30 shots to 29 in their favor. But so far, I don't even want to say this because now the inverse will happen, but so far the offense has been there for us. They have struggled, kind of, at least in comparison. .966 for Iliakis, a much better save percentage. Nylander and Redden, 2 goals each. And don't look now, the California Golden Seals have a 2-0 series lead. Do you believe in miracles? Goddamn. I mean, we can't really make changes at this point, can we? We head to home ice. It's Game 3. Let the good times roll, I do suppose. And we'll see how this goes. Edmonton does have an early power play. We will sim the first period regardless. Here we go, and that is not ideal. Bjork and Otareas. Unfortunate. I refuse to call him Otareas. It's Otareas, damn it. It is. Anyway, we're down 2-0. 11 shots to 6. Not what we were hoping for. Second period, can we get back into it? The answer is very much no. Erskine and Bolton, they have 4 goals on 14 shots. Len Iliakis just does not show up for this third game. He left his talents back in Edmonton. Ben McCauley gets us on the board. McDavid gets it right back just to snuff out any chance of a comeback, barring some voodoo. So McCauley gets another goal. It's 5-2. Bjork makes it 6. Iliakis goes from having a phenomenal game to not even showing up. We legitimately could have put a traffic cone in net and might have had as good of an opportunity to see someone make a save. So McCauley did well to be named one of the stars of the game, but the inconsistencies of one Len Iliakis continue to be extremely unsettling. Edmonton's back in this series. Our lead's down to a 1-game lead, 2-1 in this series as we get ready for Game 4. And if Edmonton ties this series, I think we'll look to make some changes. For now, we stand pat. Let's see what happens. First period of Game 4, and the Oilers get the opening goal. It's Connor McDavid, like I mentioned, in terms of them struggling to score. Not so much anymore. Second period is scoreless, 24 shots to 14. We need a big third period effort here, or this series is going to be tied, which is a disastrous situation for us. Do we have a hero? Please, kill off that power play, Ben McCauley. Thank you, sir. 6.5 to go. Are we destined for overtime, or will there be a late winner? 38 seconds left, and it is indeed overtime. We're not going to jump into it because it's not an elimination game. Let's see what happens. Overtime predictions. Vita Luoma or Anders Bjork. Here we go. Will it end early? Power play chance for the Seals goes to waste, and Edmonton wins it. Connor frickin' McDavid. And a 2-0 series lead has fallen to the wayside. The home team has yet to win in this series, and that was worst case scenario for us outside of a major injury, as we were outscored 8-3 at home. Let's take a look here, shall we? Nazarov has 3 points, 3 points for Fragapane. Redden's doing well. Second line's doing well. That third line, which was pretty damn good in the regular season, has done nothing. A whole bunch of nothing. So that sucks. And the easy change to make here, in my opinion. Let's take a look here, though. Might drop Svoboda. I might. It's kind of a tough call. Can Vita Luoma play center? He can't. Can Soro play center? He really can't. Not that Yang can. Yang's at a 75. I mean, we need to make a change, because why the hell wouldn't we? I think the easy decision is going to be bumping up Soro. Straightforward, just to get a different look. I mean, the top six has been pretty solid. Defensively, I mean, it hasn't been god-awful on that front, so that's looking all right. And then Iliakis has a 903. If Len Iliakis loses Game 5, Stu Crabbe comes in for the rest of the series, whether that be Game 6 and Game 7. So Iliakis, your future here is very much on the line, and very well could come down to this game specifically. We are in desperate need of a win to avoid losing 3 straight and to avoid facing elimination on home ice in Game 6. We need a strong effort. Can we get it, though, is the question. First period. And the Oilers strike first. It's Charlie McAvoy. 11 shots to 9 in our favor, but we can't find the difference maker. Second period is scoreless. 17 shots apiece, but 1-0 on the board for the Oilers. As we begin this third period, Iliakis hasn't been terrible. God, I had to open my mouth, didn't I? Bolton makes it 2. The offense is struggling. McAvoy makes it 3, and we are pretty much dead in the water. Nylander at least ruins the shutout, but barring a great effort here, the Oilers are going to come back from 2-0 down to take a 3-2 series lead, and that is exactly what is going to happen. As Tiny Kennedy scores with 36 seconds left on the empty net, 4-1 is the final, and we are probably screwed. Let's be honest. I mean, realistically, we only need to win 2 games, but we have lost 3 straight, in which we only have 4 goals. So one could argue, it's not really the goalie's fault, and in a way I wouldn't disagree. Obviously the team scoring more would be great, but in the end, Iliakis has a 900 save percentage. So, Stu Crabbe, congratulations. You're going to get the chance, as we are going to do God knows what. I don't even know. Fuller and Bokaboom haven't been terrible. Let's drop Pihlstrom. Let's go Richter, Zieler, Bokaboom, Fuller. I'm going Bokaboom, Fuller as the top pairing because they've actually been pretty good. Richter, Zieler, Cullen, Pihlstrom. So worst that could happen, what, we lose a 4th in a row? Offensively, we need more of a spark. We need more of a spark here, especially among that top line. Just the big question is whether or not we swap. And you know what? I think we have to. I don't necessarily want to break up that second line, but something has to change. Vita Luoma, Svoboda, and Moroz still do not have a point. They have completely collapsed under the pressure. Alright. And again, only 1 point for each of them. In terms of a potential call-up, I mean, Gregory Cox is there, but how much of a difference maker he's going to be, I honestly don't know. I think we're just kind of screwed. So what we're going to do is swap around Moroz and Vita Luoma just to get a different look. Same thing with Soreau and Francois. As much as I hate to kind of do this, we're going to swap Ivanov and Fragapani just to give these lines a little bit of a different look. Game 6 has our season come to an end here on home ice. Edmonton won the first 2 games here. We need a win to force Game 7 back in Edmonton, or again, that dreaded off-season is going to be here sooner rather than later. First period, and we do get the opening goal. It's Moroz. So finally, that third line is able to get a goal, is able to get a point. 14 shots to 9, and we have the early lead. Second period, that's somewhat helpful. Moroz and Svoboda. So there we go. The third line finally waking up. Apparently all we had to do was swap Moroz and Vita Luoma. Bjork is able to get the first goal on Crab, but we do have a 3-1 lead. 27 shots to 18 as we begin the third period. Can Stu Crab shut the door? Ben McCauley is on fire in this series. He makes it 4. And barring a brutal collapse, Martins with the goal. Barring a brutal collapse over the next 7 minutes, there will be a Game 7 in Edmonton. Early power play or late power play chance for the Oilers goes to waste, and that'll do it. That'll do it. Stu Crab stops 26 of 28 en route to his first ever playoff victory. Steven Moroz and the third line in general are able to step up and get the job done, as we have managed to push Edmonton to 7, which, you know, I'm good with. If we lose from here, it will still be disappointing, given that we blew a 2-0 lead. But on the bright side, you know, on the more optimistic side, at the very least, you know, I think that just has to be the line, outside of maybe swapping McCauley, or, you know, making this line the top line just to have McCauley there. McCauley and Nylander with those goals. Nazarov hasn't done much either, unfortunately. I think we're pretty much going to leave it. Just the big question is Iliakis or Crab, and I'm going to go with Stu Crab. As crazy as it is, we're going to hope for a Scott Darling situation. Of course, he really came to notoriety when Corey Crawford couldn't get the job done. He steps in, wins a playoff series. Crawford takes back over. Let's see if we can have that same scenario. If we make it to the second round, Iliakis will be given the chance to redeem himself. But it's a question of whether or not Stu Crab can get us there. Just like that, Game 7 here in the first round. Can we extend this postseason run? First period, it's a goal apiece. Steven Moroz strikes again. He got the wake-up call, but Anders Bjork has been a monster, and he is able to get the goal. Second period, that is helpful. Nylander, and of all people, Richter scores. Puljujarvi gets one back, a 3-1 lead down to a 3-2 lead, 24 shots to 22 in their favor, but we have the edge on the board. This is it. Third period of Game 7. We enter with a lead. Can we hold on? Do we have what it takes to win this series and, in my opinion, upset the Edmonton Oilers? We're halfway home. 7 minutes left. Is this enough for the win? 2 minutes left. Stu Crab is a hero. 3-2 final. We were ever so slightly outshot, but it did not matter. 33 save effort from Stu Crabbe. Steven Moroz steps up when we needed him the most, and despite blowing a 2-0 series lead, we storm back to win this series in 7 games. Nazarov needs to be better. Had a very hot start to the series and shut down after those first 2 games. Ivanov only had 1 assist, I believe, in the final 4 or 5 games. Redden didn't do much beyond the first couple of games. McCauley, Fragapani, Nylander, and then of course the third line waking up. Steven Moroz had 4 points in the final 2 games. That is the effort that we needed from him. Svoboda with 3 points. Vita Luoma was still just the 1. So there is the debate over what to do, what combinations we could try, who should potentially be scratched, and if they are scratched, it is going to be for Gregory Cox. He is the ideal option if we want to scratch more than one player. Brian Boro or Andrew Sarno would be the ones to get the opportunity. Not to mention, Rene Francois or Pierce Holmberg are still there as call-up options. I stuck with the defense. Bukaboom wasn't terrible. Fuller wasn't terrible. Not exactly effective offensively. Zeeler struggled in the plus-minus department, but aside from that, the defense wasn't necessarily that bad. So we do have call-up options for both forwards and defensemen. I'd say maybe for the forwards it's a bit more necessary. And then we have the goaltending, where again, Iliakis will probably get the start in round 2, but if he struggles, Stu Crabbe, he's there, he has proven himself, he will get the opportunity. No questions asked. It's just whether or not we're going to need him. I certainly hope not, as we're already at the end of this episode. This went by quite quickly. That's how it happens. Let's find out who we are taking on in the next episode. It will be the Los Angeles Kings, in which we have home ice advantage. They finished as a wild card team, 1 point above them. They pulled off the upset of Calgary, I imagine. Indeed it was. So there you go. The top dogs are out. The Battle of Alberta, they both lost it. We will play the LA Kings, the sole survivors of the Pacific Division. It's Dallas and Minnesota, the battle of the Stars and the former North Stars. Over in the East, Rangers, Pens, Sens, and Habs. We're in the second round, which is kind of surprising given the circumstances. Again, we have a lot of options, not only for what to do with this team in the immediate future, but then also beyond this. Whenever this playoff run ends, we know that we have some issues to attend to, and certainly how the playoffs pan out can help decide how things go for us, especially when you look at one Len Iliakis and the future of Nazarov. But we'll get to that in future episodes. For now, we are done here. I thank you very much for watching. You know the deal. Support the video, support the channel, everything in the description, all that happy, fun stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Yeah, I honestly can't believe we just beat Edmonton.